Aloha. Welcome to Marriage on the Spot. We're your co-hosts, Kent and Elizabeth Kitagawa. And you know, we've just been through, this has been an unprecedented season. Holiday season has been like no other, I think, before. And we definitely, you know, have had to adjust and adapt. And it's been hard, you know, because we haven't been able to make those kinds of connections, you know, especially at the end of the year, getting together with family and, you know, build, you know, just reconnecting with one another, and especially here in Hawaii with the larger,
we're stuck over here.
Yeah, with our, you know, with our families. Yeah, our ohana, you know, like we usually do and we usually used to. And so that's been hard for a lot of people, and it's been hard to deal with the restrictions and dealing with all of the, you know, the lockdowns that we've had to experience. So how do we cope with that stress? You know?
We cultivate the joy. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, that is one of the best ways to counteract that stress. And, you know, people feeling that a sense of depression. And we've seen this, you know, this rise of people, you know, expressing, you know, that they're feeling anxiety, feeling depression, feeling sadness in this time. And the best way to counteract that, especially in our relationships, you know, is to cultivate joy.
So that
how
means
do we
have to make joy happen.
Right. We have to be intentional about how we build joy into our relationships, into our days, right? And, you know, like one of the best things that we've always heard is, right, the old saying, you count your blessings. Mm-hmm. But this is especially true now, and it works. Mm-hmm. It really works. But we have to work it, you know. And you know, it's making it a habit, really building. One of the things that we can do is to build in the habit of counting our blessings together. Mm-hmm. As a couple, especially working together, it's so much better when we can do this as a couple, mm-hmm. because then we can mirror, you know, with each other. We feed off of each other's energy. That positive energy. And so we, you know, and two is better than one, right? You know, we have a better game, right? Usually. Yes. we do, right? Yeah. We can, you know, we can build each other up in this way. And in the process, we build ourselves up. Mm-hmm. See? And so it's making it a point, you know, to keep a record. You know, maybe get yourself, you know, a year, you know, one of those appointment books, you know, they have a year, but just designate it for, you know, for those blessings. Mm-hmm.
Every day put one,
at least, you know, one,
in there.
each,
mm-hmm.
you know, mm-hmm. each of us, you know, put down 1 or 2, 3 or 4, you know, mm-hmm. blessings that we experience mm-hmm. for that day, and keep track of that, see? And then at the end of the week, go through and say, wow, look mm-hmm. what happened, you know?
Yeah, just think about the blessing which I haven't really said to you. Just looking at you with all the lights in the studio, your silver hair is so silver, and I'm so glad that you're not bald-headed, but that you have a head full of silver hair.
Yeah, there you go. It didn't all go down the drain, right?
Maybe the black hair did, but it's not the white ones.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Just
you gotta take what you got, what you get, right?
What you get.
You know, yeah. But you know, it's looking for those kind of small. You know, it can be small things. It doesn't have to be, you know, like a Ferrari or anything like this. But you know, just something that blessed you that day. Either someone from the past, you know, some old friend called you, or someone did something kind for you, you know, on the street or something, or you know, just even the smallest things can become a big thing for us, you know, if we can recount that, and if it brings us joy. See, and this is what we want to do. What are the things that, you know, that we can look back on and recount with joy, you know? You know, so
I'm just thinking also about the letter I got this week from someone from church, and the same lady sent us already a Thanksgiving card.
Oh, yes.
And I thought, that is so sweet. And then I wanted to call her, but her phone number was no more good. And unfortunately, I don't have a new phone number, but I just thought, how sweet that she went out of her way. And sometimes we kind of looking down, maybe at saying, this lady, I don't know about this lady, you know. But she has a little bit a weird way maybe of communicating, worse than me. But she made it a point to tear out the notebook paper and write me a letter, and write us a letter now. And that really, really blessed me. It was not anything fancy, just to let us know, hey, I'm thinking about you, I'm missing you guys, and she has a little bit of handicaps, but we always try to talk with her, and she still could write that. More or less I could read it, and the rest you could read. But that really, really blessed me to get that, not from a pastor or from a greeter or anything like fancy position person, but from that lady that she
volunteer at church.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, it's the small things, you know, or even those kinds of things, the things that people put effort into, you know, to bless us. And, you know, just having, like you say, you know, having that surprise, you know, because we didn't expect that.
No.
You know, and you know, even like today, you know, getting what we've been waiting for,
for your exam.
For my exam, you know, finally, you know, those kinds of things, or anything. It can be anything, you know. You know, kindness of a postal worker, you know, helping us out.
Yeah,
you know, how blessing us in that way.
We went to the post office with all those different sizes and weights, and to Europe and to the mainland, and
we spent
over here we spent
15 minutes, you know, going through
15, more like almost a half an hour. She helped us with all the different forms we had to fill, and the Zoll, was it Zoll in English?
The
custom forms and all that. And when we came home, I said to Kent, you know, I noticed this COVID time, it seems like the people, even at work, at the big checkouts and everywhere, they're all so friendly. Even the customers are friendly. I have never had someone pushing me because we needed to have the distance to look at the same thing. You just wait behind till that person moves up, and then you go look in whatever it is. And I had nothing but good experience in 2020 with people over here. So I got really blessed this year. When I think about that, COVID is junk, but the people were wonderful in 2020.
Yeah, I think people are making that extra effort, right, to to be kind, to
Yeah.
be patient, to be understanding. At least here in Hawaii,
Yeah.
we're finding this, you know, and these are small, you know, those kinds of small things. Just, you know, those are the things that we need to
Start writing down and thinking about
really
it.
recording that, right?
And also checking, am I also one of those friendly ones? Am I also a person who brings joy rather than whatever,
Being
hassle?
being a stressor, a stressor.
Like our pastor was saying the other day, he was waiting on a fast food place and it took so long and he kind of grumbled and whatever. How long does that take? And then the little girl behind, I don't know how old she is or
His
was.
daughter, right?
Yeah, 5
She's
years
about-
old or whatever.
Yeah, she's about 7, I think.
Yeah, now, but I think it was last year, he said, or whatever. And he says, Dad, you know what? We should really thank that the lady or whoever is by the window. They're working so hard for so many people. We should thank them.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, most of
Out of
us
the
will
mouth of
grumble.
babes.
This is supposed to be a fast food, and we're already 7 minutes in the line, you know. But yeah, it's those little things which can make a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what else can we do?
Well, we can also focus on our family, maybe those little things which our family or neighbors, those close by, get out of the way to help us, or to say good morning, or is everything okay, and you know, if someone is sick, checking with them and all that. So focusing on other people. And this year, or I should say 2020, I forget which year we have, I made it a point to make a lot of phone calls. At the beginning of the COVID time, I said, you know what, I'm making a point to go through my address book and make a lot of calls. So I went all the way from A to about J. And then I noticed I'm not going to finish. I'm not going to finish my address book by the end of the year. I had too many addresses, so I chose especially those who I have not talked for maybe 3 or 6 months. Some of them who I only call maybe once a year, or when I know they have a birthday or so. So I started making those calls, and most of the time people would say, "That is nice. I shouldn't expect a phone call from you," because on a birthday you might expect it, but on a regular day you don't. And that's my way of
Reaching out, yeah.
spreading joy other than just by email. And some people say, you know, it's still nice that you call instead of just email. I like to hear your voice, or something like this.
Yeah, you know, that's one thing that even, you know, as far as, you know, mental health specialists, you know, started to really kind of talk about in dealing with, coping with depression, especially, or anxiety, and, you know, is for people to stop focusing in on their negative feelings, you know, get out of themselves and concentrate on doing things like you said, you know, reaching out to others and doing things for others. It can be volunteer work, or just finding, you know, taking your say your spouse for a walk, you know, or going.
Not the dog.
Well, no, not so much
That
the
sounded
dog.
a little funny.
Yeah, no,
you're taking me for a walk sometimes.
Yeah.
I know, and you have to hold me because I can't see when I trip over something.
Yeah, I try to leave the leash at home.
Okay, taking the
but-
spouse for a walk and
Yeah.
leave the dog at home.
You know, do things. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
there you go.
There we go.
you know, but just doing things to bring joy to others.
Yeah.
Focusing in on helping others, doing things for others.
Yeah.
And that is actually it's therapeutic. It's transformative as an experience, because it gets us, it brings us a boom, what do they call a boomerang benefit. Because when we see the joy that we give to others, it helps us to feel better about ourselves. You see, and so there's this reciprocity, if you will, of joy.
By the way, I did write the cards to that person, and it's in the mail now.
Good.
Yeah, I had to figure out the address though. Between the two letters which I got, I could read the address. So yeah, I thought, well, I did what I needed to do, wanted to do, to bless her too.
And you know, and it is, you know, it's the reciprocity of giving joy to someone else, and knowing that, you know, maybe they can reciprocate, maybe they can't give us something back, but that's okay. It's knowing that we have done something good to benefit someone else and bring them joy. That brings us also joy. You know, gives us a good feeling. You know, about ourselves, you know. So it's important to think about, you know, these, you know, to do those things, I should say. And we don't want to do it just because, maybe I should do this, you know, and, you know, because, you know, it's an obligation or something like this. No, it's something you know, it's not like the old Christmas card thing, you know. I think, you know, back in the day, you know, we used to have to write cards. Your mother used to tell you, you got to write a card because Auntie something or other gave you, gave you something last year, so you better write her a good Christmas card this year or something like this. You know, those obligations, you know. Not a duty. You do it because you really want to give joy to that other person. Otherwise, you don't get that benefit.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know, and speaking of, you know, in going through and reminiscing is another good way. Reminiscing, especially together, you know, we have a lot of history. You know, 40 years almost this year coming up. You know. But you know,
40 years, that's right. In a couple months, 40 years anniversary.
Right. But you know, it was interesting because I was going through, you know, some of your family's albums.
Oh yeah.
You know, just in our bedroom, I found some. Those. You know, and just being able to look through some of your family, you know, just you know, your dad and his family, you know, when he was small, right? And some of the things, and just thinking about, you know, wow, you know, how different, you know, their experiences were.
Yes.
And how, you know, all of these, the different places, you know, and, you know, it would be fun just to go through together and, you know, get your take on that. You know, and just reminiscing together on some of these past history, you know, experiences, and family members, and you know, people maybe, you know, that maybe we haven't thought about for years, right? But, you know, just remembering those things together, you know, and that can bring joy, bring a sense of security, bring a sense of togetherness and connection.
Yeah, and we learn new things about each other.
Yeah.
Recently, your brother came from Alaska, and we have not seen him for 6-8 years. And we really have not much contact.
Yeah.
His birthday is 2 days before Christmas, so we usually say, this is your birthday and your Christmas phone call or whatever, you know. But it's interesting when he was so talking that you would say, oh, really? There was like this? You mean Dad did that? I didn't remember that, and vice versa, you know. You were I was listening in, and his wife, and we said, wow, you guys learning new things after all those years now. Both of you, white hair. He's more white than you.
Yeah, he's 4 years older
Okay.
than you.
Oh, that's what I'm looking forward to. Yeah. And it's interesting how you guys learned new things about
Sure.
his take from certain things, experiences, even when your parents divorced, where he was and how he took that. I never really heard him talk about that before, and vice versa. And we listened in, and I said, wow, this is interesting. You learn new things talking maybe to an aunt or so, and they said, oh, you know, the aunt would say, oh yeah, you know, when your mom, let's say my mom was maybe 3-4 years younger, I'm just thinking about one, and she would tell me, oh yeah, your mom did this and this and this when I got to 4th grade. In 1st grade, she did this and this, and I didn't know about it, and I thought it was funny how they now tattletale sometimes about the younger ones. I guess it goes more to the younger ones than to maybe, I don't know. Yeah. But we do, you know, and it just, you know, it, like you say, it gives us a whole new perspective, right? On maybe something we thought we kind of understood or knew about each other, and yet going through, you know, these records again, and sometimes going through them, especially together, new things start to come up. Yeah. You know, new memories start to come up, new, you know, new views and things like this, and you know, and so this just adds to that collection of joy together, you know. And you can, you know, a lot of times we say, oh well, that's nice to do during the holidays, but we can actually do it anytime. Yeah. In fact, I wanted to share with you some pictures. I don't even think you knew we still had of when I traveled with the high school band to the South Pacific. Australia and stuff. Yeah. Oh, you have pictures? You think? Yeah. Oh, okay. It's going to be interesting. And so it's being able to share some of that, together. You know, some of these. We went through whole boxes of old pictures, and you know, in the olden days, they put the pictures usually pretty good in the photo albums. Oh, well. Now we have it in the camera, and maybe it goes in the computer, and then nobody looks at it. Yeah, we don't have. We used to go to auntie's house and uncle's house, and they brought photo albums out, and we get, oh, who is that? Oh, that's my dad. Oh, how cute he was, and stuff like that. It's fun to do that, to go back and look at those pictures. Sometimes it's also a little sad because it brings memory, but in general we can be thankful for those memories. Sure. And, you know, and that's the thing, is it builds memories, it builds a sense of togetherness, you know, and of a community, you know, and a sense of history, if you will. And this is, you know, this is important for us as human beings, to have a sense of history, a sense of that we have a legacy that was left to us from our parents. Yeah, the other day, generations. The other day I was telling you, now we sound a little bit like my mom did. 70 years ago, 80, a little more than 70 years ago, when she experienced the war. And she would tell us, oh, you know, when we had the war, even though Switzerland, I'm from Switzerland, was not directly involved in the war, but they still had lockdowns, they had rationing, they had to have darkness after 7 o'clock or curfews, curfews, and they had to have all lights out by, I can't remember what time, 8 o'clock or so that the bombs would not know that there is a city there or whatever. And she would tell us all that. And it never, I mean, it was history. Only now that we have some lockdowns, it's still not as bad as the war was.
Sure.
You know, we don't have that fear over us. But it brought back those times when my mom talked about that, and then of course the hoarding. When we started hoarding with toilet paper.
Toilet paper.
I said we went in every store and bought a few toilet paper, and when my mom moved house, we said, oh my gosh, everybody who comes to the house in the next 3 months, we gave them a roll or two of toilet paper, because that closet is almost full of toilet paper, and the closet there behind the winter clothes has also toilet paper.
Yeah.
And I never understood. Now I do.
Yeah, well, we you know, it's interesting how we can understand some of those mindsets, you know, and how people, you know, felt.
Yeah.
You know, just the mood, the prevailing mood of the times, you know, and people feeling that, you know, fear of not having enough, you know, not having basic things, and you know why, like your mom, we'd find stuff all over the place.
Just before we emptied her place, we said everybody who comes help, give them a little bit of the pastas. There's about seven boxes of elbows and about 5 boxes of spaghetti still in the closet and all that.
Oh my goodness!
Remember those?
Oh yeah, and she had tomato sauce. And, oh gosh.
We do it all.
Yeah.
We all do it somehow now.
Yeah. So you know, it's having that, you know, but it's being able, again, like I say, you get this understanding, and you know, and we have to remember too. And I think one of the take-home things that we would like for you is that this is a season.
That's a season.
It's gonna pass.
And
it's gonna change.
Make it a season of change and for
joy.
the good, for the joy.
And building joy into our relationship. So we thank you, and we enjoy meeting with you, reminiscing with you, and talking with you too.
Yeah.
And we pray that you will find joy during this season. God bless.
God bless you.